Welcome to Guns, Gear, and Guns with Gary Gunderson. I am Gary Gunderson. Poor Colorado. They are facing another slew of rights restrictions from their state legislatures in what they are calling a golden moment to curb firearms rights. The first bill continues the infantilization of young adults. They want to raise the age you can buy a firearm from 18 to 21. Because you can be trusted to carry a rifle in service of your country, but not in your personal life, because gun control. There are exceptions listed in the text of the bill as it stands, allowing possession of a firearm if you're 18 and have a hunting license, are engaging in target shooting at an established range, are engaging in firearms competitions, are practicing for a performance that uses firearms, not sure what that means, or are traveling to and from these activities if it is unloaded, which has its own definition. But even these exceptions still do not allow handguns or semi-automatic centerfire rifles. You can possess a handgun or semi-auto centerfire rifle while under direct supervision of an immediate family member as long as they are 25 or older. So not only are you saying 18 to 20 is not really an adult, you further encode into law that if you are under 25, you aren't mature enough to supervise someone in that age range either. You can thankfully also possess firearms if you're on duty in the armed services and serving in conformance with your duties, or if you are a peace officer while on duty, which means you can be a cop but cannot carry off duty, I guess. Even with all these restrictions, it does also say that you can give firearms to others as a gift if they are a direct family member and is a bona fide gift. You can also possess a firearm when you are under 18 as long as it's not a handgun or semi-automatic centerfire rifle if you are on your parents' or guardian's land and have their permission. Or if you are 18 to 20, you can possess a handgun or centerfire semi-auto rifle if you are at your residence, if you have your parent or guardian's permission for the purpose of self-defense. This right here shows how much they are making children of 18-year-olds. What if you have your own place at 18 or even 20? There's no longer a legal guardian over you to get permission from. You are supposed to be an adult. What if you own your own property at this point? Can you give permission to yourself? This is crazy. Even after all this, they still make the distinction that violating this law for people under 18 is a felony, but for people 18 to 20, it's just a misdemeanor. So it's still bad, but not as bad. Even the director of the Firearm Injury Prevention Initiative at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, Dr. Emmy Betts, said there is no evidence that raising the minimum age for firearms would affect homicide or mass shootings, but continued, just because there's not evidence that something works doesn't mean something won't work, which is, of course, the exact perspective you want those in power to have when curbing your rights. We see no evidence that taking away rights will work, but we haven't seen that it won't not work. It's the do something approach, where some people yell that a change needs to be done, that they need to do something.
Do something.
So they make a change with zero evidence of what they are doing will help, and of course the rights of the citizenry suffer for this something. And not to make light of suicide, but some of the proponents behind this keep pushing the angle that this will help reduce youth suicides, or I guess young adult suicides. But okay, there are all these exceptions, so you think someone can't get involved in hunting if they want to kill themselves? If they're really desperate to kill themselves with a firearm, just become a hunter or join a competition? Or does the fact that they have an interest in using firearms recreationally reduce the desire to commit suicide? If so, we should give them more firearms. Also, I do believe the higher percentage of suicide in the populace is from those in the armed forces or peace officers, which are, of course, exempt. I'm just saying this will not stop it. Also, assisted suicide is legal in Colorado, so they must not be too opposed to it. Another law that is being pushed is one that President Biden keeps pushing as well, allowing victims of gun violence to sue gun makers and dealers. They always trot out the same talking point saying,
Look, repeal the liability shield. It makes gun manufacturers the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one.
but that's not true. They are liable if a firearm malfunctions and explodes in your face, for example. They can be sued for that. What they cannot be sued for in general is the misuse or unlawful use of their products. So if someone murders someone, the maker of the murder implement cannot be sued just because it worked properly but was used in an illegal manner. This would be like saying you can sue Ford because a drunk driver in a Bronco ran you over. Hey, I'm sure the Bronco did fine and was just a slight bump for the driver, but that doesn't mean Ford did anything wrong. If I hit you with a hammer, you can't sue Craftsman for making the hammer. I'm the one at fault. And you, because you definitely deserved it. Not only are they opening it up to firearms manufacturers, but anyone involved in the creation or sale of a quote-unquote firearm industry product, which includes firearms, ammunition, and unfinished frame or receiver, firearms components, which can really mean anything on a firearm, magazines, and any machine that is marketed or reasonably designed to make these items. So you give me a company that makes custom polymer molds, and if you take an order to build a mold to make an angled grip or something, you are open to being sued. Imagine this for any other industry. The purpose is clear. Choke out the firearms industry through frivolous lawsuits. I say frivolous because, like I have pointed out, no other industry is liable in this way. Even if firearms companies throw up their hands and say, okay, you know what, we're done. We won't sell anything to Colorado at all. They can still be sued if they sell to someone who lives outside Colorado and then they move to Colorado and bring along that company's product. It's absurd. It goes into a bunch of details about ways firearms industry members can act responsibly to help prevent shootings, but it's all irrelevant because it still says that it basically doesn't matter if someone does something illegal. It still opens up a path for lawsuits, and they will search for some violation. They are also expanding their existing red flag laws. There's one on the books already that allows for family members and law enforcement to request your rights be taken away without due process, but now even more people can violate your rights. The proposed bill expands those who can file these orders to include medical care professionals, mental health care professionals, district attorneys, and educators. Here meaning teachers, counselors, school nurses, or school administrators. These can also be from an interaction up to 6 months ago. Not exactly a dire, imminent need to suspend someone's rights if you wait 5 months and then decide they were a threat to themselves or others. Not being familiar with this law beforehand, the family definition is a little odd in itself. The parent of your child, regardless of whether you were married or even lived together, can also put in this order, as well as anyone apparently related by blood. It doesn't say immediate family anywhere that I saw, so your fifth cousin that's a crazy nut that hates guns can say you're a threat, I guess. The other gun law proposal will add a 3-day waiting period to receive firearms you purchase, because even if you have 20 at home and are a law-abiding gun owner, they have to make you wait to get another one, making it more unlikely people will purchase firearms because they have to go back to the gun shop again 3 days later to pick it up, going there twice, especially if it's a long trip, and deal with extra hoops in general. And that's not even the end for the poor folks in Colorado. They are also working on an assault weapon ban and further regulation of ghost guns, even though the ATF already kind of reached out and strangled that item already in particular. Unfortunately, the Democrats who are supporting these measures have the governorship and near supermajorities in both houses, so in all likelihood, these will all pass. This isn't the only state facing legislation like this. Even after the Bruins Supreme Court decision, they feel like now is the time to cram down your rights as much as possible, because I think they're wanting to see what they can get away with, do it knowing it's illegal via the recent ruling, or just want to be able to tell their base that they did do something. That's why it's important to remember to vote, support candidates that aren't complete morons if you can find them, and make your voices heard by contacting your representatives when they get these ideas about trampling your rights Even if you don't support them, making it known that there are people out there who will support someone else because of these rights violations could have some effect, maybe. That's all for today. Like I said, I know there is similar legislation in a few other states like Michigan. So if you want some breakdown on those, let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll do a video on them. I just thought Colorado's were the most interesting and vast that I had seen with this 18 to 20 nonsense and coming in the form of 4 bills with 2 more on the way. Don't forget to support me on Patreon if you are able, like the video, share it with others, and of course subscribe to the channel to get more content. Thanks for watching.